Hi, everyone, and welcome to OneMicNite, the podcast that brings you stories of artists and people on their journey, helping to guide, answer questions, and motivate you in life and business. You already know who I am. It's Marcos Luis, and I'm back here. We're in season 6 of OneMicNite, and I want to thank everybody for being along with me on this journey. Almost 19 years of OneMicNite. Can you believe it? So stick around. We have a OneMicNite live coming up in July to celebrate the birthday. We've got a lot of special guests lined up, some of your old favorites. Of course, Marichu will be there. But it will be an open mic. Today, I'm very, very excited. As you know, on OneMicNite, we like to spotlight entrepreneurs and people who are giving back to the community, and today is no exception. Now, you may have seen them featured on Fox News and Forbes, 805 Living, CBS News, a slew of other places, but today they're here on OneMicNite. They have a company called Project ReWear, and I'm so happy to have them here. Please welcome Kimberly Lau and Linda.
Lau.
Lau, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. It's okay. My boys still mispronounce it.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Listen, I have questions.
Okay, you got answers.
All right. So one at a time, but first, who is Kimberly Lau?
Lau.
Lau? Kimberly Lau?
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
Who is Linda Young?
Linda Young. So I am originally from Australia. And I always had this passion of thrifting in Australia. In Australia, we call them opportunity shops. So it's actually a different kind of mindset in Australia.
I love that.
We're trying to bring over here to America. Thrifting sort of had a really bad stigma with it in Australia. So there was a lady in the 1920s who wanted to change that. And she decided to call them opportunity shops so that people felt like they were going and looking for opportunities rather than something to thrift. So, So I met Kim in a thrift store, and we both were very passionate about, building a unique business and a unique way to thrift and trying to change a mindset on thrifting. And, we've sort of found that there still is a stigma with thrifting. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to kind of bring a new way for people to think about it. And what it means to thrift.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. To help families sort of rethink more around fashion and sustainability and more about a values-driven model. Yeah.
I want to talk about that a little bit later. Who is Kimberly? Kimberly Lau.
Well, I'm originally from Michigan, but grew up out here in Southern California. Mm-hmm. And I was in wealth management for 24 years. I know, very far removed from fashion and sustainability. But I ended up becoming partner, and I was fortunate enough to really learn how to manage people. I always said we were a human capital business that just so happened to do wealth management. And with those skills, and then with sort of my problem solving and strategy skills, I decided at the age of 50, after I went through a divorce, you know what? For me, it was now or never. Fashion was always, I loved going to thrift stores. Fashion was always a big deal to me. And then having 2 growing teenage boys and seeing that every size and season, every 2 or 3 months, I'd be cleaning out their closet and see half of it with tags on it, some worn once or twice, where I'm like, something has to be done about this. And so with my skills in wealth management, decided I was going to go to thrift stores and start doing research and focus groups. And now, a year and a half later, over 30,000 items that we personally purchased, handpicked from thrift stores, we formed Project ReWear.
I like that. So tell us a little bit about what Project ReWear is.
Yeah, I guess you would say it's like we try to do it to empower families to make more conscious choices with their clothing and their kids' clothing. It's really a very purpose-driven mission of just trying to slow down fast fashion, which is the trendy, affordable, disposable clothing, and just to help make more conscious choices. Because when you really think about fast fashion, if in our day, we'd have 4 seasons a year, right?
Right.
Now, due to fast fashion, over the last 10 plus years, it's transformed into 365 days a year of new seasons.
Very true. Very, very true. I know I'm a man of a certain age also, so I know exactly what you mean. So this kind of hits me too because I know growing up, I came from a single parent household, my mother, and there were times when we relied on the thrift store to
Hmm.
make ends meet.
Yep.
So not only were we doing that, and it was an economical way to, buy clothing and make sure you have what you need, but you also could turn it into fashion because what's old is new. So I
Hmm.
found ways to do that. I went to a boarding school and I didn't have a lot of money like all the other kids, but I found ways from the thrift store to actually use that and make it look like something new. And the kids were like, wow, what do you have on? Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what we love about it is
Hmm.
because thrifting it's unique. So you can be uniquely you. You're not following trends. You're not following labels and brands all the time. It's just finding unique treasures, and bringing them back to life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they're all one of a kind, right? Because
Yeah.
when you think about it, and it's the key word about all this that we discuss is when you use the word new, is
Mm,
it new meaning it's new in production or is it new to you?
right. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your store and how it's set up, because I know you guys have a couple of unique things in there, sort of like a buy. I don't know if it's you can take one if you leave one and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we do a couple
Awesome.
of really different things. So we have something called the community rack, which I don't know if everyone has seen the libraries where you leave a book, take a book. So we decided to do that with clothing. So we have a rack where people can come in, leave an item that they no longer want, and take an item that they might like. So
Hmm.
it's just, that circular rotation of clothing again, of textiles, and that just helps even save more from landfills because
Yeah.
we're keeping the life cycle alive of items that are still in good condition. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the community rack. We also do something called the landfill program.
Hmm.
So every time someone comes in, when they purchase from us, we actually weigh everything. So you purchase, we weigh your items, and that collectively goes to how much we're saving from landfills. So we measure that in real time, in terms of how much we've saved. And we've been open for about 6 months, and we've saved over 1,200 pounds from the landfill.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are so attracted to this?
I think because it makes them feel like they're really playing a part in it as well. So, it's heartfelt. It's something that we're very passionate about. I think people can see that with us. It's all about the mission, and what we can do, and what we can do as a community and a global community. Really just changing the way people see thrifted clothes, and how they shop.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
from personal experience, just being moms, having friend groups and just involved in the community and the schools, a lot of it is honestly that they're just not aware. They're
yeah,
not aware of,
yeah.
what's happening with the environment, the cost, environmental cost with fast fashion.
Hmm.
And so I think big part is just us trying to generate awareness, education, and it's really kind of become a community powered movement we're trying to start.
I love this. I love this. This is great. So yeah, I mean, it's not only economical, but you're doing something for the globe, for the world, you know, for the environment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
I try to say, what is it? We say we're trying to help people help the planet.
help people help the planet. Exactly. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is what first of all, where's your store located? So
It's
for
in
people
Thousand Oaks,
okay.
California.
Hmm.
So Thousand Oaks, we're actually in a little area with thrift stores around it. So we positioned ourselves here for a reason because thrifting can be uniquely different from thrift store to thrift store.
Right.
And we wanted people to have like a little thrifting route, and they could come to and walk to all of them.
Yeah.
And it's community, it's all about community too. So they can come to ours, go to another couple that are in the area, and they're all different.
Yeah.
And they all do different things. They all give back in different ways,
Yeah.
and all have different messages. But collectively, it's, all about community.
Yeah. And the end goal is what? Reducing textile waste, obviously doing anything we can do for the environment. So it's not about competition. I mean, we'd love to have more and more thrift stores
Mhm.
around here and all be aligned in our values and our mission. And in Thousand Oaks, we're about a half an hour without traffic from
Yeah.
probably LA.
Yeah.
But we've had such, I mean, I'm sometimes I even tear up because we've had such.
Uh-oh, she's gonna cry.
Didn't even bring my carrying a handkerchief. Maybe we'll recycle and make cool handkerchiefs.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just so humbling, the overwhelming support from the community, and especially because we really focus on families. So the store is not just clothing, knickknacks, shoes, accessories, jewelry for kids. It's for the families, the parents, the grandparents, the nieces, the nephews, everybody. And we've had such overwhelming support. I mean, I'm so passionate about this that I talk really fast sometimes when I talk about this. And the vision started about a year and a half ago, so it's been a process to build. But the support by the community, I mean, I knew it would be very well accepted, but I didn't know quite this fast and how people are just appreciating it.
Community is so important. And I think it goes back to what I was asking you before, why do this? And I feel like there's a slide, a sort of a tilt in the world of people looking to do things for the globe. People are looking to do things for the environment. People are eating, healthier. People are doing things with more concern and more purpose. So this is something that fits right in there. And I love this. I love this for everyone.
I think as we got older, like we're both in our early 50s.
I guess I am.
Speak to myself.
Yeah.
But I always thought about like my kid, I think about my kids a lot, and I think about the planet that I want to leave them and how that affects me and my heart and my mindset. So my big thing was before I leave this planet, I want to make sure there's a planet for future generations, because we're drowning in textile waste.
Absolutely.
So if we don't do something about it, and people don't start thinking about what we need to do about it, we're not going to have a planet.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, you go.
No, I was going to say, I love this because this is what's happening right now. I'm talking very general, but you're very specific about what you're talking about. And I love this because that means that you guys are very purpose driven about the textiles and what is happening in this area.
Yeah. It's, it's emotional intelligence and really understanding empathy and compassion, not just for ourselves, not just for others, but for the planet is so critical. And I think a lot of it is just how we create the story and how we generate the awareness. And we both like to think outside the box and be creative. So we really, you should see us at night texting each other. What about if we do this? Sometimes we have to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like critical, like she was saying, for my boys, I've always said, the day that I die, all I care is if that I taught them empathy and compassion for themselves, for their peers, and now for the planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I have to say, I'm not a father, but I have stepped into the father role of my older sister's son. So going through this with him is exactly what we're doing. It's teaching and what do I want to leave for him and the legacy for him and how I want him to live his life on a day-to-day basis. So I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Let's talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, the actual business part of it. How did you guys structure the business? And I want to, because I kind of want to leave some people with some nuggets of how to start a business. How did you guys get started just in general with the business?
Well, given the fact that I was in wealth management for 24 years, I was taught, obviously, to always look at worst case scenario, be somewhat risk averse, that whole spiel. And I guess what I did? Complete opposite. And so I literally, when I first came up with sort of the initial idea before the store, before I met Linda, anything like that, just the general idea of there's something here, and then finding this amazing partner who were so aligned in all our values, it wouldn't have worked, and we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her as well. But when I started thinking about that, I just had this gut feeling. And so if you have a gut feeling, and if you are very passionate about it, I strongly suggest follow that, but with your eyes wide open. That's the big deal. And listen. Go out and start talking to people who are like-minded. find out what their successes and what their failures were. Go collaborate, or even just offer to help other people in the same niche or area that you're trying to focus on. Take that time, but also if you're so passionate about it, I mean, we live, eat, sleep it. Now to this point, sometimes our kids are like, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah. And I'm also believe when you're passionate about something, it never feels like work.
Right.
Like it's never like a drag, maybe you have a job you don't love or something and you have to go to work and it's like a drag to go sometimes. Like when you're passionate and you're living something that you really believe in, it doesn't feel like that.
Right. You get up in the morning with eyes wide open and
you're
you're ready to go.
excited every day. It's like ready to go. Go. Yep.
And I think I always say this. I have two favorite quotes. They're Mark Twain, and you've heard them over and over again. But one of them is, the greatest gift in life is to know what you don't know. Right. And I know, and I think you do too, we don't know a lot. So a big part of that too is going back to the being open to knowing that there's no competition. Other people excel in other areas and you can excel in the area that you feel you're passionate about.
That's absolutely right. That's key. And here's the other thing too. This is why I start off my podcast by saying I have questions, because I want to know. I have questions. I want to learn. I'm open to learn.
Yes.
I'm not in, there's no competition or anything. I'm here to learn what you did so that maybe I could do something on my own, or anyone who's listening can be inspired to know that they can do the same thing if you ask questions.
And I'm not just saying this, but you're pretty inspiring. And I'm not going to say I did all this research on you before, because it's transparent. But you seem like you obviously know what you're doing. And at some point you might be getting a bunch of emails from us because we want to learn from you.
Well, we can definitely collaborate. That's fine with me in any way. So you said you're not focused just on children, you're focused on the whole family. How do you make that cohesive? How do you bring everyone together? How do people come in and receive you? And what do you want them to know?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would say it first started off when I mentioned when we saw the overwhelming amount of textile waste just from our kids' closet. So it first started off with kids' clothing. And honestly, it's still going to stay. It's still like 75% kids, because they outgrow clothing so fast. However, when you really think about it, who comes in for certain age groups to shop for their kids? Okay, well, they're coming in, and then we got this sort of support and request and demand, like, you guys should be caring for everybody. And we listened and then started going out, and that's actually been an overwhelming success. And now it's really being sort of that one-stop shop of really listening to the community and knowing their needs.
Right.
And so having it for women, men, young adults, doing kids, doing focus groups, because we've learned this. What's interesting is trends, like we were able to buy over 30,000 items personally, but trends for teens, through social media and the influence changes, not daily, but honestly it feels like
hourly,
or even hourly or seconds. But and so really understanding the needs of the teens, the trends for that specific area, that's been a little bit of a challenge, I will say. But as far as the other age groups for kids, for the most thing for younger kids, if it's cute and you could style it right, they're gonna enjoy it, right? And for women, that's just kind of following the current trends, from you in different communities and seeing what they're wearing. So we listen, we research online, and then honestly, we just both love fashion. We like being unique and creative, and we can offer that to the community.
I love this. And this goes back to the business strategy I was asking about, because you do the focus groups, you look at what's out there and you put it all together, and you're able to market it in a way like right now, this purple rain jacket is speaking to me. You know what I mean? And it's just placed right there.
Yeah. So these are, we work with an eco-friendly designer as well. So these jackets are actually all one of a kind, but the difference is the jacket is sourced through us. The t-shirts are sourced, and then we take those and put them together, and then you have a unique one of a kind jacket.
Beautiful. I love that.
But it's all recycled, repurposed.
Yeah. I love
and it's
that.
Not just with jean jackets. We can find cool old vintage leather jackets, and we put, we did one with Lakers t-shirt, old recycled Lakers t-shirt on it, or anything like that.
And it's on trend and it's recycled at the same time.
Yep.
This is beautiful. I love this. I love this.
Oh,
Thank you.
well, we love your energy because
Thank
I
you.
feed off energy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have a very kind face.
Thank you very much. What do you guys have? Do you do? I know some of you guys, one of you has worked with the LA Strong. I think was that
Oh,
you, Kimberly?
So
Both of you have.
we
And
both did. We created a line in our store where we were able to give back to fire victims. So, and
beautiful.
we keep it, that's ongoing. So when it's not something that we did for a short period and then we're stopping it, it's going to be consistent, because they need help all the way through. It doesn't
Absolutely.
just stop and then start and then stop. So we created this line of LA Strong merchandise, but again, all the items are thrifted and pre-loved, and then we put the print on them.
Mhm.
Did you say pre-loved?
Pre-loved.
I'm about to fall over right now. I love that.
Yeah.
You like
Pre-loved.
that?
I've
Pre-loved.
never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah. No,
Pre-loved. This
pre-loved.
is
Oh.
So
great.
they're all
Okay,
pre-loved. Yeah.
Yeah. And they all have a story to tell. And
Someone loved them before we got them.
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
now you're gonna
You
fly
got
off
me
there.
on that one. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have lots of exciting things coming up. We're gonna be launching our website, an e-commerce store. We're excited about that because again, being unique and different, and we focus on the landfill project, is that every single item you'll be able to see the weight of each item, and you can filter by the amount of weight you want to save from the landfill.
Excellent. This is great. So I know you guys, we're going through a thing with the tariffs and products being shipped to the country and out of the country. Where do you guys fit in all that?
Oh, I mean, it's
Or don't
obviously
fit in, maybe.
yeah.
The
We're
good part.
we're a tariff-free pre-loved
Right.
Yeah.
store, right?
Mhm.
No tariffs here.
Yeah.
Right.
If anything, it's for some people, it's obviously we're trying to be affordable, stylish, impactful, and convenient for the community and eventually more nationally. And doing that is that with like the tariffs, some of it is trying to change the narrative for some people that typically have different viewpoints on thrift stores. And so where it's made it a little bit easier is people are starting to consider that at thrift stores or pre-loved items a little bit more given the tariffs and their, past interest in fast fashion.
This is great. I Now I'm having flashbacks again. So when I was in high school, I got this beautiful cashmere coat from a thrift store, and it was $100. And
Wow.
I love that coat so much. So I'm thinking this is an example of what you guys are doing. How do you find your clothing, or how do you get your clothing? I know you just said you make some
Well,
of it
Kim's
there.
done most of the sourcing. So
Mhm.
she's traveled the country, and I've done, a lot of it too, but mine's sort of been collectively. I've been collecting like for years and like saving things for years because I always just I love the stories behind things, and I
Yes.
like to pass those stories on. So I was in the retail field for 30 years and I was traveling the world with my career, and I would stop everywhere along the way and like thrift things, find cool stuff and collect them because I liked them. But then I wanted to now, I met Kim and I wanted to give all those things to other people so that they could have a second chance and a second life. Because of course I can't keep it all.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
they're pre-loved, and now they'll be loved
Yeah.
they're
again.
pre-loved.
This is going to be the word
Yeah,
for today for me. I never heard that before.
that's
Oh,
funny. That's cute. Yeah, so it's just really
yeah.
um
I mean, I went to thrift stores. I didn't collect. I actually didn't have a ton. Now
Yeah.
it's probably closer to 50,000 items. And
Yeah.
majority of it is in my house. So that's why we're so thankful now that we're getting a warehouse and creating this whole showroom and visual experience. But with purchasing it, I just went the last year and a half. I was the one that pretty much purchased 30,000+ items in the last year and a half from thrift stores. I just go. I didn't know too much in the beginning, so I would take chairs. I would sit in thrift stores. I would stay there 8 hours. I would ask customers questions. I had a notepad. I would go feel the brands, the tech. I would learn the brands, feel the
Mhm.
the textile, and I just was overwhelmed and flabbergasted by the quality and the amount that still had tags on it. So that's how we sort of got our inventory and how we still continue. However, what's been so interesting
mm,
and so over like the support is we're getting people coming to us daily now wanting to bring us donations of their good quality, what they would hand a friend.
I
I mean,
love that.
we're not a nonprofit, but we're the nonprofit. But everything is purpose driven and everything is very affordable and low price. It's not about charging up. We want to have everything where resellers can even come and make money, because it's all volume based. It's not profit based first. It's volume and purpose. And so people are wanting to bring us donations, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah. So I've sort of seen it firsthand, because I'm actually the president of a thrift store that exists, and it's been around since 1960. So I would see all the stuff that would come in, and it's overwhelming. The donations that come in, and, people are spreading love. They want to give these donations, but they don't always end up being sold. They end up in landfills. Right. So there's so much out there and so many things that we can do with them. So, that was important to me, that we were able to take these items that might still have new with tags and save them from ending up in the landfills.
Right.
And given our just one thing on the donations is, given our creativity and outside the box thinking, given that over 80% of clothing that's donated to thrift stores still ends up in landfills or sent overseas, we really struggle with the fact that a lot of thrift stores, they keep increasing their prices, yet everything is donated and given free. So when we do accept donations now, we want to make sure we're as transparent as possible. So every single item will have a separate tag. It will be a lower price, and a percentage will be donated to our mission, or the mission. So other charities like Battered Women or Slowing Down Fast Fashion, things like that.
You're absolutely right. And now I'm thinking, we are a country that consumes so much retail. And like you said, I was just speaking to my mother a few minutes ago, and because of a health condition, she's lost a lot of weight in a good way, but she has clothing in her closet that still have the tags on it. They're too big for her. So then what do you do with them? Eventually, when they hang there for a couple of years, I'll just throw it out, unless someone will either come pick it up, or you can take it to a place where you donate it and then someone can use it. We just consume so much retail and clothing. And then again, I, as a former model, I know we used to, fashion. You'd be right on fashion every season. Fashion change. You'd get new clothing. You'd stay with the trends. And I think, wow, look at all the clothing that I've wasted all these years. And either someone else could be wearing them now, because what's old is new, or I could have, they could be somewhere else.
Yeah. So we actually have enough clothing on the planet to clothe the next 6 generations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Already, right now, we have enough clothing on the planet to clothe the next 6 generations.
That's insane to think about.
So, and we as humans create that demand. Like you were saying, we create the demand for the clothing. That's why fast fashion brands keep creating it.
Yeah.
Because we as humans want to consume it.
Right.
So that's kind of where we come in. We want to slow down that mindset of, okay, you don't need to go out and buy fast fashion. It's already here. Yeah. There's already so much of it.
The demand starts with the consumer or the parent. Yeah. And honestly, we feel it can slow down with the consumer, the parent.
Yeah, it's actually a change of mindset.
Yeah.
In my older years, I'd rather take my money and invest it in something than, buy more clothing. I have the same clothing. I wear the same shirts every. I'm an old man. I don't need it unless there's some event that I'm going to, and then maybe I'll wear something old and something new. But it's a whole change of mindset. That we really don't need to spend money on such new fashions. Use something that's been here and make it your own.
Yeah. So again, it just comes back to a little bit of education, because I think a lot of people just don't think about it when they go out to buy clothing. You think, okay, I want to go and get some jeans today and a jacket because I need that. But you don't think about what it's doing when you're going seeking that, like in these fast fashion places. So we're trying to create, that change and the mindset of how people shop.
Right. And even like when you walk in our store, everything in it, say 98% is repurposed, reused. From the point of price tags for kids is old Monopoly money. For women, it's playing cards. For teens and young adults and men, it's Uno cards. To the fact that our dividers for clothes, we use a lot of old 45s, things like that.
I love that. Wow. Well, hopefully I'll get some pictures, since I'm not there, maybe of the interior of the store, and then I can add it into the episode here. What would you like us to know about the store and your purpose and your mission and why we're here today. And I'm going to say to celebrate you because I think this is a beautiful landmark thing that's happening here.
Well,
A movement,
thank you.
a beautiful movement.
Yeah, I think what I would say we want you to know is like we're really the mindset of thrifting. We need to change the stigma of it. We want to break down that, sometimes it takes a long time to go out thrifting and finding the items you might want to find. So what Kim does with her styling and finding things is she takes a lot of that time out for people because people are busy. Parents are busy. They don't have a lot of time to go out and thrift. Even if they are into that, it takes hours to go through things and find cool things. So we're just trying to take that time out of it for people, have somewhere to come where it's all here ready for you. And you can come and experience it. We educate, we educate you while you're shopping.
Yeah.
So it's
As I've been educated here today.
Yeah. The goal is to make secondhand, second nature.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
if I can end it with my last, remember I said 2 quotes.
Of course.
I'm not going to let you know is another quote. What are the 2 most important days in your life? You would say the day you're born.
Born, yeah. And
the day you find out why.
Yes. Yes.
And this is our why besides our kids.
This is your why. I love that. Oh my gosh. I wasn't ready for this today, but here we are.
Yeah. Well,
everyone, please tell us how we can get in touch with you. What's your website? And so we can find out more information.
Yeah, it's projectrewear.com. And then we have Instagram, which
Project.ReWear.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's our
Instagram. And our store's at 2940 Thousand Oaks Boulevard in Thousand Oaks, California.
Yeah. And then on our website, because we are going to be launching our website, the e-commerce portion very soon, they can subscribe and they'll be the first to know when our first drop is.
Love it. Everyone, please make sure you find out more about Project ReWear. The website, again, is projectrewear.com. Go to the IG, project.rewear. Is that right? Yeah. Kids?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Nope.
No kids, just
Project.ReWear.
Project.ReWear. Okay. Make sure you hit them up there and find out more. Sustainable clothing is where we are. Everyone, thank you, Kimberly Lowe and Linda.
Wow, but you're going to get it next time we chat, right?
I'm so sorry.
Yes, I promise. No, I don't believe you. All right.
Kimberly Lau, Linda Young, thank you so much for spending some time with us here at OneMicNite because time is the most valuable thing you can give. So thank you very much. Everyone, check them out. Please check me out. I'm Marcos Luis, MarcosLuis. The show is called OneMicNite, OneMicNite. Make sure you share this episode. And if you're in California, go visit Project ReWear. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.